Now moving on to an interesting co-main event. Stylistically and just name-wise, Kennedy Nzechukwu versus Iwan Cutelaba. Now, you got a Kennedy Nzechukwu here, man, who has been surging. He's coming off a very big win against Carl Roberson, but he's carrying into this fight something that he has carried with a lot of his opponents, man. And honestly, that's just like a stylistic edge, a frame edge. He has an 8-inch reach advantage on Iwan Cutelaba here, bro, and I think that's just kind of one of those things where it's like what? Like you have what going into this? Talk about a freak of nature. Talk about a dude with just a fantastic, massive frame. You got to talk about Kennedy Nzechukwu. Now, the question that I have going into this fight is experience versus sheer power, grit, and will. Iwan Cutelaba has been doing it for a long time, hasn't had the most success. But when we're talking about styles make fights here, AJ, we're talking about Kennedy Nzechukwu, 6'5". Let's see the reach. What's the reach looking like? What is the reach looking like? I don't even know what the reach is. It's long. We know that for sure. Can you pull that up for me, AJ?
83-inch reach.
83-inch reach. And if we do a little deduction here, we know that he has an 8-inch reach advantage. Iwan Cutelaba 6'1", with, I'm guessing, a 75-inch reach at this point. So what that tells me right there is that, first off, Kennedy Nzechukwu does not have a light heavyweights frame right here. This dude's John Jones in it, basically, with that type of frame. And Iwan Cutelaba's biggest strengths are two things: fast starter, powerful, get to the legs. How do you accomplish any one of those things when you got a dude who can hit you from across the goddamn cage, who has a massive sprawl, and who also kind of likes to wrestle himself, man? How does Iwan Cutelaba have success in this fight?
I think you just got to catch him early and catch him unexpected, man. Hit him hard and then go with the old school Mike Tyson approach, man. Everybody has a game plan until they get punched in the mouth. And if Nzechukwu is able to get punched in the mouth with the power that Iwan has, I feel like that would be the one thing that kind of disrupts him. I mean, you could go back to the Carl Roberson approach, where he really was kind of picking him apart, choosing his things, and really outclassing Nzechukwu, but hitting him hard at the same time. I just don't see that kind of tactician style fight coming from Cutelaba. Now, that might be a thing. We have seen the evolution of Cutelaba really come into play, where he was that marauder, where he was that guy just walking everybody down. And then he kind of starts taking those L's, taking a couple losses and having to learn who he was as a guy, as a fighter. And now he's kind of a little more reserved, but I don't know, Derek. Do you think he's reserved enough to be that tactician in there and pick apart Nzechukwu and literally duck under all those shots coming, avoid the knees, get in, get to the hips, take him down, beat him up? Is he going to be that tactful, or are we going to see just a marauder going in there and a human punching bag walking at you and hopefully looking for one of those lucky KOs we always talk about?
Short answer. Is he going to be tactful and being a technician? No. Long answer, no, absolutely not. No, I think Iwan Cutelaba, his number one strength right here and his path to victory, the best path to victory, is start fast and get on Kennedy's ass, bro. Pardon my phrasing or whatever the case may be. Either get in on a double, keep him down and work that ground and pound, work a submission quick, or get in there and try to knock him out ASAP. And the reason why is because Kennedy Nzechukwu is notably a slow starter. We've seen it time and time and time again. I do feel that he has progressed massively over the last couple of fights. And I did want to make a note, man. He actually had noted in his pre-fight presser that he's made a lot of drastic changes in the 4-month training camp leading up to the fight. He has worked on fixing his slow starter reputation, and who will adequately utilize that 8-inch reach advantage right there. So when you have all of that kind of coming into play, you have to take into consideration he knows Cutelaba is a fast starter. So you're going to have to mitigate that somehow, some way. We saw in the Roberson fight, man, and Nzechukwu likes to wrestle a little bit, bro. I don't know if you've ever tried to take down a dude who's 4 inches taller than you, but I'll tell you, when you got that much legs, it's tough, bro. You got to get in deep on that single. Trust me, I do it every single night at the gym, man. Deep on the single, and I'm like, bro, I'm not letting this long-ass leg go nowhere. I can't, right? Iwan Cutelaba, we know he's very high level, but I'm also pretty positive he is not a traditional, like a freestyle wrestler. He's more of a Greco-Roman. So that's going to be even more difficult, yet he'd have more success, because if you can get in the hips on Nzechukwu, that's where Carl Roberson had the most success. So at the end of the day, over and under on this fight here, AJ, like I said, you're going to see a trend. 1.5 rounds, right? The over is getting a little bit of love from the odds makers, -125. If this fight were to end short, who is getting the better of who? Is it Cutelaba with the knockout, a submission? Is Kennedy Nzechukwu put a backpack on him and just ground and pound him like he did to Carl Roberson? How are you seeing this play out?
I know. If this one's going short, Derek, I'm thinking this one's Cutelaba all day long, man. Like you said, the slow start of Nzechukwu, the amount he needs to get kind of in that flow, in that even that grappling position where he's really dominating you. I think he does need a little bit more time to kind of wear you down, especially with the power and explosiveness that Cutelaba has. So if this one's ended before or on the short, on the under, this one's definitely going to Cutelaba. But like in that Carl Roberson fight, if Nzechukwu able to kind of wear down Cutelaba, then that's when I see that backpack come in, and that's when we see the ground and pound. That's when we see the really breaking of the soul, taking of the soul of Cutelaba again, and then we really see Nzechukwu get to work, man. So that's kind of where I'm leaning with the over on that one. But if this one, do you agree with me? This one goes short. This is Cutelaba all day long, or does Nzechukwu stand a chance in that short time frame?
I think Nzechukwu definitely stands a chance in that short time range, especially if Cutelaba is trying to close the distance, and Nzechukwu can utilize that reach and just pop him with one, man. He's aggressive. We know he is. And that's why this is a difficult fight for me, because I do think Cutelaba could win this fight. I absolutely think he can win this fight. But Kennedy has been getting better and better and better every fight, bro. So for me, honestly, I have to roll with the new blood here. It's always hard for me to turn down a fighter who has 4 inches in height and 8 inches in reach. Come on, bro. Styles make fights, and I just think that this isn't Nzechukwu's fight to win unless he just gets completely dominated in the grappling. But I'm actually going to go with a maybe controversial pick. Not necessarily controversial, but I think a lot of people think Nzechukwu is going to come in and just finish Cutelaba. I'm going to go decision on this one, man. I think Cutelaba is tough. I think he's going to risk it, but I also think when it comes to the grappling exchanges, he'll be able to hold his own enough to force out a decision. And, I mean, who knows, man? I think I could see him winning some rounds just based off of effective grappling and using pure power and strength over Nzechukwu's long frame. So might bite me in the ass to come back when it comes on the over and under scores, but I am rolling with Kennedy and Nzechukwu. Personally, folks, if you're rolling with my picks, play the money line. Play that minus 170 right there. I'm not confident enough in any one of these prop bets right here, not even the decision. I like the minus 170, but if I got to pick, give me the plus 300 decision for Kennedy and Nzechukwu. How you seeing it, brother?
I'm with you, Derek. I think that's a safe bet with the money line for Nzechukwu. This one can end in a multitude of ways. And again, another fight where it's so close that, man, I was sitting there back and forth, Cutelaba and Nzechukwu. Which way is going to be the way it goes down, man? Personally, I'm actually rocking Nzechukwu, and I'm going TKO. But I've been debating over the over-under, man. I'm going over. I'm going to take the over, man. I'm going to go early round 3. You said 2.5, correct, Derek?
No, it's actually 1.5. So you're safe on that one.
Okay.
Bro. Yeah.
Over either way, man. I'm going early round 3, TKO for Kennedy and Nzechukwu.
Money. All right. Shout out to Nzechukwu right there, man. But you got to Cutelaba, dangerous man.